it's your boy Dante Williams. Thank you so much for checking out this channel. If you wouldn't mind pressing that like button, sharing and subscribing, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm trying to build a community here and I want you all to be a part of it. A lot of what I do as a therapist and career counselor and researcher of the psychological sciences, a lot of that I've noticed and I've talked with a lot of people, there's still a lot of shame around mental health and mental wellness, and people don't necessarily understand how important it is. And just looking at different athletes currently right now during the Olympics, advocating for themselves, advocating for their own long-term well-being, and the backlash, the silliness, the backlash of people taking care of themselves. So I wanted to talk about my own struggles that I'm working through and am overcoming still on my own journey as a person who provides the service to folks and people. So guess what, friends? Your guy here has been recently diagnosed with ADHD. I have known I've had ADHD probably I'm 30 now, about to turn 31. I have known I've had ADHD probably for about the past 10 years. 10 years I've probably known about it. Like, I felt something was off. But I, again, never had seen a therapist, never have gotten medication, never have gotten assistance or help. It was one of those things that if it was so much shame for me to go and even just think about getting assistance for this. So this is how I knew I had ADHD. I am a very creative person. And I have thoughts. I think a lot all the time, too much. It's almost debilitating. It really is. Sometimes I can't sleep at night because I have thoughts upon thoughts upon thoughts and ideas upon ideas, right? It is overwhelming. But at the same time, too, if I'm like super interested in something, I can work for hours. Non-stop. I can work for hours on a project. So there's good and bad that goes with it. I don't even want to say bad. There's positive characteristics, and if not control, there's characteristics that can really make things hard and difficult for folks. So I've known I've had ADHD for about 10 years. And in my high school, I struggled academically because I couldn't stay focused, amongst other things as well too, like lack of student engagement, lack of belongingness, all that stuff comes in the classroom setting. So, but I've always been pretty bright. For the most part, I wasn't stupid, but because you're not able to, sit still and pay attention, like my ADHD didn't look like, it still doesn't look like massive big behaviors. I think ADHD, I know ADHD is weaponized against students and young boys and girls who have a lot of energy and they get excited about stuff, and they weaponize that against them and say that it's dangerous, say they're out of control, all these things. But really, they're just excited kids that don't have outlets to push out their own energy and to express themselves, But it's demonized and they make them feel bad. And I was, firsthand of that. I felt bad, and not only I feel bad because I wasn't able to focus on the materials because I really wasn't interested in it, to be honest. I was then kind of viewed as a person that was not as smart with the content. But again, if at that time, if you would have made it interesting for me, I definitely would have been able to do the material, no problem. But because of that, I struggled with staying engaged academically. And so throughout college, my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, I've been able to do some certain types of techniques to keep me focused and to keep me engaged. For me, like ADHD, again, there's like a stereotype that goes with it. ADHD, they think it's like people like running off the walls, throwing stuff, just bumping their head against the wall. That's not really ADHD. Like, that could be the case, but for most folks, ADHD is where you're sitting in class and you're doodling. ADHD is where you're bored with what the teacher's saying because you already know it, and you're thinking about something else that's brilliant, right? ADHD could look like that. And that's how it looked like for me. I couldn't focus on that material. I'd be in my own thoughts, thinking all the time. You might call it spacing out or zoning out. And, again, the shame that goes with that, it's almost undescribable. And I'm sure many of you, if you wouldn't mind commenting, if you felt, if you've had ADHD or any type of like mental health, type of disorder or challenge, there's a lot of shame that goes with that. And so in college, I was able to kind of rein that in a little bit, but it's just too much sometimes. I can't, I'm like, I'll start doing something and I'll work on something else and I'll work on something else and I'll work on something else. And then like an hour and a half goes by and I'm like, hey, what was I doing originally? So one of the techniques that I do, if I'm noticing that, is I will write down, like I'll have a notebook next to me. I have a notebook next to me, a old like beat up notebook. I carry notebooks around me all the time, and I just write down in order things that I want to do, and I just check them off. So as I get a thought, I write it down chronologically, and then I don't have to come back to it right away, but I use it to remember where I'm at, so that way I don't forget. But anyway, I can talk more about techniques later if that's something that folks want. But so probably within the past 6 months, it's been very highly stressful for me with school and work and growing my business, and I can't afford to waste time on things. And so I finally went in, and it still is something I'm like, I feel dumb, but I know I needed it, and it's not bad. I finally went in and got some assistance and got some medication for it, to be honest with you. So I'm taking some like ADHD medications, not a lot, but just a little bit to help me kind of sit still and to focus in on like the material that I'm doing. Because I have to, at least for like a dissertation and stuff like that, it's hours of research. When I say hours, it's hours of research, hours of study, hours of typing papers for each. I'll put it this way. I'll take 3 classes right now, 3 classes, and typically each class has a 8 to 10 page cumulative paper, okay, each class. So if I hit, let's say I'm lazy, I'll hit the 9 mark. I won't go the full 10, but I don't go to the 8. I'll hit like the 9 mark. That is anywhere from like total pages written. We'll round up and say it's about 25 pages, right? Arguably 25, 26 pages typically is what I'm typing per semester, just for that. Okay. Then there's presentations that go with that. There's 3 hours for that. Okay. Or excuse me, three presentations for that, which typically takes me 8 hours to prepare for each presentation. Okay. Then on top of that, every week there is multiple readings for articles. There's assignments each week that you're typically doing, whether it's a discussion type of thing or whatever. So you have to read the material, or else you come to class completely unprepared. So there's hours upon hours just with classes and the dissertation. Okay, not including running a business too. So my time is very limited. Even doing this video, like I'm on the run, on the go. I gotta do something else after this. My time is very limited. So for me, I was like, I need help because I can't afford to waste any more time. I can't have moments where I'm like, oh man, I was supposed to have done that, and I totally zoned out because I was thinking about something else. And here's the vulnerability aspect. Me with my identity being the way that I am. Being in this profession at one of the highest levels, possibly, it's very shame invoking for me to say I needed help. There's just something about feeling weak, and that goes into my dissertation topic too, of like, why is it hard for Black men to be vulnerable? It's a whole different. I can't even get into it in this video. I can't even get into it. There's too much content, but there's a whole reasoning for that. But I felt so bad about it. But at the same time, I look at my son, I look at my child, and I say, as I'm a single dad, so I'm looking at him and I'm like, if I don't do this, and I let my pride get in the way of how I perceive and how others will perceive me, I'm going to miss out on setting him up for success for his future, for whether it be education, sports, whatever he wants to do. I'm going to end up not setting him up for success like I can because of my own pride and how I view it and the internal narratives that I have, and the words that people said to me made me feel like when I was a kid and a teenager. All those things, you know, because nobody wants to be feeling like they're stupid, right? Nobody wants to feel like they're dumb. Nobody wants to go and sit in an office and talk to somebody about what's wrong with their lives. Like, nobody wants that. Nobody wants to feel the pain of acknowledging ostracization. Okay, that's a lot of what it boils down to. Like, nobody wants to go in and talk to somebody and get the assistance that they need. So I'm taking some medication to help me focus. I'm not taking a lot, but I'm taking enough that as an adult, it's actually really helping me. Honestly, I'm able to sit down and really plow into my material, to be present with the material. So as I write and type and present, I really understand what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying stuff to be saying stuff. Like, I mean, it has really helped me, to be honest with you, and I'll keep you all posted how it's been going. But man, it's been really helpful and very noticeable, just with the little level of dosage stuff that I have. Of course, I've been integrating different techniques too as well, that one I mentioned with the notepad. But man, it's been huge. So out of anything I'm saying to you folks is this: you're not alone. You're not the only person going through this and experiencing this and feeling this. You're not. And it may feel like it. And believe me, if you need to talk to somebody and you need to just reach out to have a sounding board, hey, you can hit me up, call me, reach out to me on whatever social media platform. I'd be more than willing to talk you through this process and what it looks like. But just know you're not alone. Don't feel shame about getting assistance and help. It's there. It's okay. And if there's people in your family that don't understand this or bring you negativity, you know what? And it's easier said than done, but it's like, how I'll put it this way: they can't get you to a place that they themselves have not been to. And like, if they have undiagnosed like anxiety or depression, and they're trying to tell you that you don't need help and assistance, but they suffer with it too, how are they going to get you to a better place? They can't. So like, they don't understand you. They don't understand what you're trying to do. They truly don't understand where you're coming from. They just do not understand. So that's not a valid source. I mean, that could be your mom, dad, whoever, uncle, aunt, whoever. They just don't understand what you're talking about and what you want to do with your life. And if they want to suffer with that, that is their choice. But that doesn't have to be your choice. You deserve to be free. You deserve to live a happy, healthy, and productive life. And if there's things that can be done to help you get there, do it. Please do it. Be brave. Go out and get the assistance that you need. I'm glad that you all, A, have watched this video. B, I hope that you got something from it. You know, I'd love to hear kind of your feedback and your thoughts too. And again, you know, be brave, because you already are brave enough. But now just do the steps to be whole while you're being brave. Hey folks, I appreciate your time. I'll check you all out next time. Stay blessed and have a great day. Thank you.